So, does a brand new 20th anniversary cut of Bloc Party's Silent Alarm beat out an original US Dim Mak release? I've got both right here with me today, and today on the Vinyl Narrative we're going to do a shootout to find out which one sounds better. Now, I've done a full unboxing video of the 20th anniversary edition on my channel, so if you want a bit more information about that release, please feel free to go back and watch this video. But today we're going to be focusing on shooting out that edition against this US original Dim Mak release. Now, in my opinion, this has been the best pressed edition out there on the market to date, and it's released back in 2005, February 2005 in fact, on Dim Mak Records, which is a subsidiary of PIAS Records at the time. It's got the catalogue code DM080, and it's mastered and pressed at RTI, the plant over in the US. And this one is actually a 3 LP set, so it's got a slightly different running order to most issues of this album, because that third LP is, well, you've got the main album spread across the 2 LPs first off, and then that third LP is actually just a remix album. So it's got 2 remixes on each side of Price of Gas and Positive Tension. So it's a nice little bonus disc that you get with this. And one of the coolest things about this release actually is the track listing. So I don't know if you noticed that when I held it up, is that they will notice there is at least one track on there that's not on the standard running order of this album, and that's Little Thoughts. That was included on the US release, but there's also a sneaky hidden track right at the start of this album. It's a very short instrumental track by Russell Lissack called Every Time Is the Last Time, and it's the lead-in track on side A before we get into the album and kicking it off with Light Eating Glass. And my copy is quite clean, especially for a 20-year-old record. It's got a little bit of surface noise in the quiet passages, but there's nothing distracting. And this record is actually cut quite hot, and that's surprising to me considering it's squeezing in 2 extra tracks on this album. But you know, you can really hear it when you put it on. It's at least 2 or 3 dBs louder than any other cut I've heard. But it does mean that the guitars are given this kind of sharp and overdriven tone that's just, you know, so distinct of this era of indie music. You know, you can really hear those Fender Hot Rod Deluxe amps, especially if you're familiar with them like me. I've got one myself and I love its pieces, but yeah, that really comes through in this edition. And the separation as well, the instrument separation on this is excellent. The guitars and the toms sit nicely in the mix and in that kind of stereo field, if you will. So the guitars are really nicely panned on the left and right, and the drums feel quite punchy, but they're not quite as like thunderous as you may expect them to be. I think a lot of people associate Bloc Party's sound with having this really big drum sound, and that is true, it does, but it's not quite as thunderous as you would expect on this cut. Now, that all sounds good, but it's not perfect by any means. There is, in fact, a fair bit of sibilance on some tracks. So you've got Positive Tension's got a little bit of sibilance in the vocals, and especially on tracks like Blue Light and This Modern Love. And on This Modern Love, it almost gets to the point where there's almost like a little bit of distortion on some of the vocal. And that is there from the mixing, but it's really amplified on this pressing, unfortunately. And then you also do get a little bit of distortion when things get a bit too busy in the mix as well. So, you know, that could be something like In a Groove where maybe on my copy, but honestly, up until now, it's never really bothered me. It's kind of added to the kind of raw early 2000s guitar rock energy that you expect from a song, from an album like this. Standout tracks for me on this pressing are songs like Positive Tension. Even though you've got that sibilance, it still sounds great. The Pioneers as well, and probably Plans is a really nice one. But if there's one kind of weak link on this pressing, I'd say it's This Modern Love. It's just that sibilance that creeps in there a little bit too much for me to kind of like not ignore it, that is there. And then lastly, with this 2005 US copy, the one thing I will call out is that it's actually just a single double spine album. So there's no gatefold on this, and you don't get any kind of picture sleeves or artwork with it. You just get the 3 LPs included, and they did come in paper sleeves, but I've since re-sleeved them and or cleaned them and re-sleeved them. But I think the artwork looks really good. It's lots of detail. It's got that nice kind of black and white and slightly grey contrast. It's really nice. And there's just another view of the back for you as well. So there you go. If you're looking for one of these in the wild, that's what you're looking for, is a single double spine sleeve with 3 LPs preferably. And you also want to look for that Dim Mak logo next to the barcode as well. So there we go. That is the US copy. And now on to the latest entry into the Silent Alarm series, if you will, of pressings. This is the 20th anniversary edition. And this was released on PIAS Records for the 20th anniversary this year. And this one is pressed on white vinyl to match the kind of artwork. And you can either get this as a kind of standalone 2 LP edition, or you can be like me and buy the big old box set, the deluxe box set, and get that. This one is cut by Stefan Tenner at Optimal over in Germany, and it's housed in this nice kind of matte gatefold sleeve this time round. So as you can see, they've put the artwork on the insides there, which would normally be found on the picture sleeves on the inners, especially on the UK copy. And there's a view of the, it's got the original track listing, the UK track listing on the back there. And then instead of Wichita, which is the label that Bloc Party signed to when they released this album, you've got PIAS at the bottom. So there you go, that's the artwork there. Really nice artwork, and it's not too thin of a cardstock either. I'm really impressed with the fact they actually went a bit further out and gave you a nice cardstock for this gatefold, which doesn't always happen, right? But yeah, it does come on white vinyl, as you can see, which is nice, kind of matches the tone of the artwork of the album. And yeah, pressed at Optimal Media, and they're usually pretty good, Optimal, as a pressing plant. You know, they do have some misses, like every pressing plant does, but more often than not, it sounds really, really good. The only kind of thing that really misses with the vinyl on this one is, there's 2 things, I guess. There is a slight edge warp, and there is a little bit of surface noise as well, because it's using that white vinyl compound. I've never found a dead quiet white vinyl. And that edge warp is there, you can see it, but it doesn't affect the play, it plays through fine. But sonically, you know, this pressing actually really, really surprised me. The instrument separation is great, similar to the kind of the original US pressing, but it's got a slightly wider soundstage. I'd say it's wider and slightly deeper as well. It just kind of jumps outside of the speakers that little bit more than the US pressing does. But the biggest difference, I'd say, is in the low end. They've clearly boosted those low frequencies in the bass there. So the drums and the bass guitar, they really drive through into the mix and giving it that kind of warmer and fuller sound. I hate using that term warmer because most people use that, but it does feel a bit warmer, to be fair. And definitely a solid foundation for the band to sit upon as well. So you do lose a bit of the detail in the bass, especially on tracks like Positive Tension. But in exchange, you've kind of got this, you know, it's almost like this more powerful and enveloping sound as a result of that. So the other thing to notice is that the high end has been tamed on this pressing as well. So there's no more really harsh sibilance or distortion on tracks like This Modern Love or even Like Eating Glass. That can get really kind of like, I don't know, everything's kind of up in the higher frequencies and it gets a little bit grating sometimes on the ear. So yeah, that's been tamed, and vocally, Kelly's vocals sit really beautifully in the mix. They're kind of dead centre and they come through really clear and confident, which is what you want from Kelly Okereke's voice, because he's got a very distinct voice and it's really great to hear it in this mix. In terms of highlights, or song highlights at least on this pressing, the ones that really stood out to me, sounding absolutely amazing, were Banquet, Blue Light, This Modern Love as well, and Luno sounds really good. Again, it's another one of those songs where it's really busy in the mix, there's a lot happening, but somehow Stephen Tenner's managed to kind of tame everything and clean it all up, and it's not lost that edge. It still sounds great. So the all-important question, which one wins? And honestly, I think it's a really tough one to decide upon, and it depends, I think, what you're after from this album. So, you know, the US OG, this one over here, it's definitely more detailed, and it's a bit more of an exciting cut. It's raw and it's urgent, and it's kind of full of that early Bloc Party intensity that I think we're all used to. But the 20th anniversary edition, this one kind of gives you a cleaner and more balanced listen, with kind of slightly tamed highs, wider imaging, and just overall deeper bass for sure. There's a lot more bass on this record. But aesthetically, I think the US OG, I'm going to kind of flip between the two, but the US OG, this one I think still holds the crown with the artwork especially. It kind of, it pops and it feels a bit more premium. So if you compare the two, you can kind of see on this copy it's slightly darker than this one. I don't know if that's coming through on camera, it probably isn't, but yeah, you can definitely see it in person. This one, this kind of 20th anniversary cut, it's, yeah, they've just gone for a like higher contrast. It's kind of brightened up a bit, so you lose a bit of detail in the trees there that you don't on here. So yeah, one thing to kind of look out for there if that's something that really bothers you. But it still has a really nice matte finish on this 20th anniversary cut. And if I had to score them both, I'd probably say it's a draw, right? It's probably 8.75 out of 10 for both of them. You know, Silent Alarm was never an audiophile record to begin with, you know, but these two are by far the best ways that you should be experiencing this album on vinyl. So I'd say it comes down to, again, what are you after? If you're after the prestige, and you know, you want to hear what it sounds like when it was pressed, you want to go for that original US copy. Although this one is going to set you back around £100 to £125 these days if you want to find a very clean version. But if you want the best bang for your buck, and a pressing that sounds fantastic right out the sleeve and it's widely available, obviously the 20th anniversary edition is the way to go. This one can be picked up for about £30 right now on their web store. So, you know, if that's what you're after, just go for this. Don't go for any of the earlier pressings that have been released recently. They're not very good at all. This one, I think, smashes them out of the water. So that's my Silent Alarm Shootout. So let me know down below in the comments which pressing you think you're going to prefer, or if you've got both of them, which one do you prefer? Let me know. But also, if you've heard other versions that you think are actually really, really good, let me know as well, because I think I was quite harsh, and I did cull a lot of my collections when I picked up all of the subsequent pressings since the OG, because I just never thought they sounded that good. But if you found one that did, let me know, and I'll try and hunt it out and see what it sounds like. But if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop it a like. And also feel free to go back and watch my unboxing video. There's a lot more detail about this album and why I love it so much as well in that video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.